So Colorado has an O-line problem. This ain't breaking news. You've already heard about certain O-linemen that have left Colorado, jumped into that transfer portal. We'll go over a few of them in this video. I want to talk more about that and a potential problem that I see for the road ahead. As you see Kwamani McLean sitting right there. This is obviously not a new video. This is a throwback old school video from Well Off Media. Salute to you, Bucky. What up? So let's talk about the O-line problem right after this intro.
BWB. Bandwagon bust.
That's right. It's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. All right, family. So I got to go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. So a couple of players have actually entered the transfer portal, including former lineman Kalo Benson. Entered the transfer portal. He's going to be joining Cincinnati, my new team, the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, he's going back home. All right, this is what he had to say. He said, big thanks to Coach Prime, Coach Lodeholt, and the staff for letting me showcase my talents and to be a dominant player. Also, the guys on the team for keeping me motivated always. Remember to believe and never stop competing. Love y'all. Will always be family. I love that. I know a lot of people, when Colorado players commit to Colorado, they're dogs. We do videos on them and we say how great they are, but when they leave, then they're no longer great. So Khalil, always here at TLP Sports Club, we say, go be great. It's business, you feel me? A lot of people don't understand. They just think like, oh, it's my favorite team, so I want everybody to stay. Yeah, that's not how it works, okay? Stop playing with me. Okay, so Kalo Benson left, and he was a contributor. He did get hurt, have some injuries. He did produce. He was one of those guys that I talked about on this team. He was a leader. If you remember the infamous video, the clip that surfaced online from Well Off Media, when he told one of the players, I'm here to take your position. And guess what? That player, I believe shortly after that interaction, that video went live. Not too long after that, that specific player jumped into the transfer portal and no longer played for Colorado. But yeah, Khalil had some production, but he got hurt, and you know, his season wasn't as great as he probably would have wanted it to be. Just knowing what's going on around Colorado and who they're bringing in and what's going to happen, he decided to go ahead and leave and go to the Indiana Hoosiers. Salute to you, my guy. Like I told you guys, this is not breaking news. I do commentary, okay? So I'm sharing some information with you. I don't want nobody to go into the comments like, "Hi, Harry B, you late." This is not that, okay? I'm just giving you the information because I have a talking point. I have a perspective that I want to share. TLP means the Liberian perspective. In case you were new around here and you didn't know, I'm not trying to break no news. You feel me? Anyways, recent Deion Sanders commit to pursue college football dream elsewhere. Carter Miller looks to follow Phil Lodeholt to SEC. This one was written by Steven Cordor over there at Athlon Sports. The Colorado Buffaloes offensive line is in flux again in a surprising move reported by Scott Proctor. Center Carter Miller, who recently joined Colorado, has announced his departure to Mississippi State. Miller's decision reunites him with former Colorado offensive line coach Phil Lodeholt, a key factor in the switch. While the bus program has been a buzz, try to say that real fast and turn around backwards saying that, okay? A buzz, the bus with a buzz, okay? With players transfers under coach Deion Sanders, this flip raises questions about continuity on the offensive line. All right, Carter Miller has decommitted from Colorado. Miller's decision to follow Lodeholt, who left Colorado for Mississippi State last month, reflects the strong connection between the player and coach. Lodeholt recruited Miller to Boulder after a solid stint at Louisiana Monroe, where Miller started 12 games as center in 2024. At 6'2" and 300 pounds, Miller brought stability and experience to a Colorado offensive line that gave up 3.5 sacks. Lodeholt's presence in Starkville likely tipped the scales. What was the impact on Colorado's offensive line? The loss of Miller, who was committed to Colorado for only 3 weeks, leaves a gap in the Buffalo's offensive line. However, Colorado recently added Zarian McGill, a Louisiana Tech transfer who outperformed Miller last season. According to Pro Football Focus, McGill posted a 66.9 grade over 429 snaps compared to Miller's 58.5 grade over 714 snaps. While McGill's arrival may soften the blow, the team still needs stability in this critical unit. What's the bigger picture for Coach Prime? All right, so here's what I think. Colorado absolutely has to focus on the offensive line. Now, as excited as I am about the Louisiana Tech transfers, Zarian McGill, I'm excited. However, I want to see major movement. There's a little bit of a caveat. There's no need to panic. I'm not trying to set nobody into no frenzy and start panicking, but just understand that offensive linemen from elite programs don't move often. Unless there's just some type of craziness that's going on they want to change teams, you're not going to see a lot of movement. We don't really expect that, but I'm expecting for Coach Prime to bring in some players that are not just capable of playing, not just able bodies, but I'm actually expecting Coach Prime to go after elite talent. Where is he going to get them from? Maybe you will have to go outside of the Power Four to get those players. We know that Coach Prime have gone outside of the big schools to get players that came in and then they coached them up, and we saw production out of them. One thing we got to look for is how many snaps they played. Were they a starter? So to me, snaps and starter means a lot. The more snaps you take, the more experience that you have. I need to understand that you have experience on an offensive line, and if you started at your program, that's even better. I'm not saying you have to start, but you have to have production. We need offensive linemen with production. We're bringing in 2 new quarterbacks. We're bringing in Caden Salter, and we're bringing in Juju Lewis. Juju Lewis is the younger of the 2. Caden Salter, I reacted to the interview. That video is on the page. Go ahead and look at it. The 2 quarterbacks are mobile, and they're very capable, but I believe Caden Salter has a little bit of an edge over Juju Lewis. In Caden Salter's interview, he said there were no promises that was made by Coach Prime, and they're going to have to compete. I understand that they're going to compete, and I believe that Caden is going to have the upper hand. To protect those 2 quarterbacks, I need, personally, okay, TLP Sports Club, I need to see a lot of movement with the offensive line. The talent that we have in those skill positions, I'm comfortable with that. The offensive line has to get to the point where we feel confident that we can play big teams and we can compete. Am I satisfied with getting group of 5 talent? Maybe, maybe not. But I feel like we have to give a little bit of grace, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get a lot of movement from those elite teams. So if we're not going to get a lot of movement, then that means that Coach Prime's strategy has to be bring in guys that are capable of playing, coach them up. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about always having to replenish a whole lot of the team. One thing I want to ask the fan base, around this time of the year, Colorado fans, we go through this love and hate type of situation where players are leaving and we start telling them how bad they are, and then the players that are coming in, we're saying, hey, we're getting some dogs. I don't understand when we're comparing G5 players or ACC players or any other conference Mountain West players. When we're comparing those players, it's almost like we're saying, hey, those players are not as good as us because we're Power 4. But then when we have to go out there and grab those players from the transfer portal, then all of a sudden those players are good. We can't have it both ways. We got to be very careful how we have these conversations and what we talk about. We're planning on trying to compete for that Big 12 championship, and we want to go to the playoffs. For that to happen, we need to have major movement on that offensive line. When I say major, I'm talking about the type of movement that will have you compete like Arizona to Texas, the type of movement that can beat BYU, the type of movement that can actually hold down Kansas, both Kansas teams, Kansas State and Kansas. The type of movement that can actually make some noise, because it ain't about talent, but it's about when we get to the trenches, we are a little too light in the trenches. What moves are Coach Prime and his team going to make? We've lost some coaches. We got to replace those coaches. I'm sure Coach Prime already knew that those coaches were leaving. I know that we're going to be waiting till the playoffs is over to find out what really happens. But what I need to see, maybe we need to go out and snatch some players. But if we don't have it, if we don't have the bag to go and snatch some of these elite talented offensive linemen, then we're going to have to dig into Coach Prime's experience, his experience of snatching players from the galls of these big programs. We need to see that. If we don't get major movement, are we going to be wasting Caden Salter's year? Or maybe he goes to grad school and he gives us another year depending on how he plays in 2025. Are we going to be wasting a year for Juju or 2 years for Juju because we don't have the offensive line? I need to see the movement. I'm going to be paying attention to this offseason moves for the trenches. I'm not looking for able bodies. I'm looking for bodies that are beasts. Okay, we can't say everybody's a dog, because if they're not good enough when they're not here, they can't be good enough when they're coming through this door. So we got to be very careful with these conversations. I don't know who Coach Prime is targeting in the transfer portal. As soon as the news comes out, guys, I'm going to bring that to you guys as soon as I hear something with the trenches, but I'm going to be watching because that's going to be our greatest need. Quarterback situation, the quarterback was answered. We still have a really good wide receivers room. We have good running backs. If anything comes up, guys, I'll make sure to do a video and we talk about it, but I'm going to leave it right there and I'll see you. Get it? See you on the next video. Okay.